You might work with amazing people, but new research shows that you're probably not getting the most out of your team. So, in a new study over the last 6 years of 1,255 US companies, we showed that when you measure teams across attributes of trust, commitment, accountability, psychological safety, and breakthrough teamwork factors from dream teams like cognitive diversity, productive conflict, intellectual humility, shared purpose, and consciousness, what you find is that there's an enormous gap between what could be and what actually is. So the key results from this study are, first of all, psychological safety is very low in the American workplace. People are afraid to speak up, and in particular, they're afraid to be candid when they spot problems. This eliminates a lot of potential because if you have people in the team, in the room, who could point things out, but they don't, then you're, by definition, leaving things on the table. And the thing about this is from the upper levels, from leadership, management, things look a little better than they look down below. And in particular, when you look at the different factors, leaders think that the sort of grandiose factors of teamwork are going really well when most of the workers think that sort of the basics are going well and the really important ones are not. This is a big disconnect. And most heartbreakingly, in corporate America, most teams, the majority of teams are great at nothing. They might be good at things, but they are great at nothing. So that's the bad news. The good news is there's huge opportunities in this data that most teams have diversity that they could be tapping into, and they simply aren't. Getting more diversity, especially diversity that comes from different life journeys, different experiences and backgrounds so that you can see things from different perspectives, super valuable, but not valuable at all if you don't take advantage of it. And what we find in the data is that teams that have this diversity, who can argue well, who can disagree without alienating each other, they score far higher. Teams that have productive conflict do better across every level. And this means, in many ways, making it safe to have that conflict. So the psychological safety being so low is a big problem. That's holding teams with potential back. And teams with intellectual humility also have, across the board, a lot better results. This is, I think, actually the big unlock for these teams that have the diversity, that they might be afraid of conflict. They want to unlock this potential. That when the leaders, when those in power show a willingness to change their minds and a willingness to explore viewpoints that are not sort of the ones taken for granted, that opens up this safety and allows for the productive conflict to happen. And then the two last things that I think are super important to see is that data shows very clearly that a shared purpose for what you're doing, not just getting paid, not just doing the job, but a shared purpose that's higher than that, tends to help teams get through that discomfort and have the productive conflict and be willing to change their minds and be intellectually humble. And I think this is one of the chewiest parts of this, is that a shared consciousness, which is when team members know all of the information that they need to know, and they know exactly who on the team has what skills and superpowers and differences that can help out. When you have that shared consciousness, that also leads to big increases in teams utilizing their potential. And this is, I think, largely about information transparency, but particularly about what the different people in the team can provide, that we are not all the same thinkers, but how are we different thinkers? Giving people that knowledge, helping them get to know each other in that way, I think especially nowadays where so much work is remote, is super crucial to meeting that potential. So those are the highlights from the study. You can check out more by Googling Dream Teams, Shane Snow, or look up Snow Academy.